I've heard that you guys have known each other for now 20 years. Is that true?
Yes.
My kids, well, they're now 36, 33, 32, 29. But when they were little, they said, Dad, we've never asked for you to call anybody up that's famous to bring them, but we have one request, and they wanted to meet Adam Sandler. And I said,
right.
Who is Adam Sandler?
Of course.
Oh, my goodness. Oh,
And
Dad.
I saw that movie you were in.
Billy Madison.
Billy Madison.
Yes.
This is back Billy Madison days.
Thank you. Yes, they liked the Billy Madison. He didn't watch it, but that's okay. But the kid they called me, Dust. I got a call out of nowhere, and I was very young and excited, and someone said Dustin called. He wanted to meet you, and I said, oh my, I'm very nervous because I grew up loving Dustin and Marathon Man and just every movie Dustin did was such a Kramer versus Kramer was such a huge part of all our lives. And anyways, so I was supposed to be at Dustin's house at
dinner.
For dinner.
You got invited for dinner? That's
I'm sorry. He invited me over to meet his kids. So I was supposed to go to Dustin's house at 5. I was living in a little hotel, and I left my hotel at 12 so I could get there, make sure I wasn't late. And
5 hours early,
5 hours as I went to hell, and I was in my little red Yugo, and I drove there, and I didn't know Los Angeles that well, but anyways, I got to the house that early, and then I sat in my car.
And it's waiting for you.
Yes.
10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40, an hour.
I was late because I was terrified to go meet Dustin off. So I just sat in my car.
Sitting in your Yugo?
Yeah. But I was very scared because he is Dusty. But then when I came in there, he was the warmest man, and like he is, and the best with his kids. And we had dinner, and I will never forget. You and the kids were playing an acting exercise game.
Improvs.
You were doing improvs at the table, and Dusty was making each one of his great kids give a place and right, and everyone in the family was awesome. It was very talented and saying funny jokes or very smooth lines and blah blah blah. And all I would remember was praying, please don't get to me. I don't want to fail in front of the whole family.
It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it's
a lot
too
of
much.
pressure to meet somebody.
Did we?
You got to me, and I don't know. I think I choked on some food or something. I got out of it. I don't remember.
Did you? I heard stories that you used to play basketball together or something. Is that just?
Do you remember that at all?
No, you play with my son.
I play with Jake,
with Jake.
but when you first that day, you loved me so much when we had dinner. You thought I was such a nice guy that you invited me to play basketball, and it was you and Tom Cruise against me and your son Jake, and you guys kept thinking I was like Wilt Chamberlain because I was so tall. You don't remember that?
No, I don't, but I know that I'm the tallest one in my family and always have been.
Yeah. But then you went to the Golden Globes because I heard.
Yes, he doesn't know that either. I don't think you remember that either. But I was at your house. Dustin was getting a Lifetime Achievement Award. And I happened to be at the house, and then for no reason, you looked at me, you go, you want to come? And I was like, do I want to come, to the, I didn't even know what the Golden Globes was. And I was like, yeah, I'll come, and you got to wear something nice or something. I said, yeah, sure. And you got the biggest award of the night, and I was at your table, and everyone who was up on stage, like Redford and I remember Christopher Walken, they were all looking at me like, why is this ass here?
But there again, but then now you're in a film together, and you're great in the film, and I want to talk about all that stuff. But I mean, it's just, I just think it's cool, and I think you have a great chemistry. And I could just, meeting you right now, I've never met you before, but I'm intimidated.
Yes.
And you are?
Yeah.
We have very similar noses.
I love that. Oh, yeah, not bad. We do, yeah. Well, no, please, that's a compliment, guy. I love it. I remember the first time I met you, you were very, very nice to me.
That's right, I remember, yeah.
You told me that you were doing stand-up and he was like 13 or something.
You were young. You were like 15, 16 when you come see me?
Yes.
Every time for like a year or so, whenever I get off stage, the first guy I'd see is little Jimmy Fallon going, Good set, Sandman. Or something.
Never said that.
Yeah.
I never said that.
Something
That
like
is so not true. Good set, Sandman.
Sandman.
No,
How do you
no.
do it? How do you do it, Sandman? Teach me. Teach me, Sandman.
I'm getting embarrassed. Yeah, but I would show up. I remember I would show up to everything, because I knew where, like, if you were going to be at the Improv or something, I would just show up.
Oh, yeah.
And I idolized you. I still do. And
Well, you were the nice, 100% the same kid that the same way you are now. You were back then. He was the nicest kid always, and just a fan. Besides being a funny bastard, he's such a fan of everybody, and like that's why we're all so happy you are Jimmy Fallon today, buddy. You're doing a good thing.
I remember you introduced me to Chris Farley. And you and Farley, and I was like, oh my gosh, Chris Farley, and I thought he was going to be like jumping through a thing, and he was so calm. And he had glasses on, and he goes, hey, nice to meet you, Jimmy.
Oh, yeah.
Pleasure. Oh, you're a fan?
Yeah.
Oh, what those sketches? You like that one? I go, yeah. And I was telling him what sketches I love, and just staring at him, and then he went right over from me to you, and you both started going like, hey, and I started fighting, and I go, oh my, turned it on in like 2 seconds.
Oh God, yes.
And it was the
He
greatest.
was so sweet. And he did not like, by the way, a memory of Farley, when I told him I went to Dustin Hoffman's house, he was like, what? He was so angry that your kids picked the wrong guy, he thought.
No.
On and on and on. I said, and it's on and on and on.